Start a new week here at Farm Progress, DatelineDrought.com, brought to you by Genuity Drought Guard Hybrids. Well, notwithstanding the market performance that we saw Friday after the crop report and what we've seen thus far this week, there is more price rationing to be done. So says our analyst friend Arlen Suderman with Farm Futures, that the numbers indicate prices still must climb to ration the available supply for the demand that is out there. And that means, of course, the price pressure will intensify on those who must feed this short crop. I learned long ago that sweeping generalizations generally are filled with erroneous impressions. In other words, when you generalize about a crop situation or the results, the economics of that difficult crop situation, there are those that don't always quite fit into that description. To be sure, as we take a look at this particular crop, there are some folks who are going to do reasonably well after all is said and done, even with a short crop. For example, some grain producers, after a couple of good years in the agriculture economy for them, who have managed their risk successfully for this crop, and perhaps are even pricing the next one to some extent, will be able to weather the storm with little difficulty. There are, as we know, many others who do not fit that description, and I've been hearing from some of you, to be sure. And of course the livestock sector comes to mind immediately. And while we tend to talk most about the pork and beef producers, we should not forget the dairy men and women who need to feed the corn and soybean meal and the forage. A very small forage crop this year. That crop report on Friday indicated the hay, the alfalfa hay in Wisconsin, will be down 29% from the level of a year ago. Nationwide, I believe it's down somewhere in the neighborhood of 16%. So the costs of feeding, of course, are elevated, and the milk price is climbing and is projected to rise, but it's not climbing fast enough to cover those increased costs of production. We'll be watching to see in the next milk production report, which I believe comes out Friday, to see just how much the production contracted in the heat of this summer. But no doubt it's climbing still too much in terms of the price that the producers need. So it will put many of them in a pinch, especially the smaller operators, from what we are hearing. Now, we have seen quite a trend toward larger and larger dairy farms, especially in that state of Wisconsin. It is not at all unusual now to see a herd of 1,000 cows, 2,500 cows being milked. But what about those smaller family units? 50 cows, 125 cows? Those have been disappearing already, and this drought, no doubt, will accelerate that disappearance. Already we're seeing cows going to market ahead of schedule, long before it was anticipated, simply because of the price of feeding this herd, and compared, of course, to the insufficient milk price. I believe somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,500 dairy farms went out of business last year, according to the Department of Agriculture statistics. It will be interesting to see the results of this drought and what it does to those smaller dairy farms. I saw an estimate that in the month of June, I think this estimate came from Dairy Management Incorporated, that in the month of June, dairy men and women were losing 25 cents on every gallon of milk produced in the month of June. So, yes, this has taken a toll on many in agriculture, and the men and women who milk cows certainly are feeling the pinch. We hope you'll stay with us throughout the week here at Dateline.Drought.com. We pledge to keep you updated with the help of Greg Solier, our agriculture meteorologist from This Week in Agribusiness, and also Bryce Knorr, the respected analyst at Farm Futures. We hope you have a good week, and we'll see you here later.